Beats by Trill, straight Killerville, dog.
What's good? We are back. The one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. I'm about to bring on a special guest. I've actually been able to produce a couple interviews behind the scenes, and this will be the first time I actually interview him. He's one of the biggest showmen in BKFC, and to be my first BKFC interview, so we're gonna bring him on, the one and only Zach Shark Attack Calmus. Zach, what's good?
Hey, here we are.
Appreciate you joining us, man. I had to do a little research before I came on with you. I want to get a couple standard questions. I don't know if people ask you the standard questions, but how'd you come up with the name Shark Attack?
Shark Attack is a name that was given to me actually by an amateur boxing coach. Most great nicknames are not ones that are come up with by yourself. You got to know that my nickname, I've been the Shark since I was an amateur fighter. It's because of the way I move. A smart man always told me, don't just pay attention to what a man does. Pay attention for a living. Pay attention to how they move when they're not working. So I've always prided myself on being a shark. I move like a shark. I'm calm. I'm cool. I'm collected until it's time not to be. And that the time not to be is when it's time to eat.
That's what's up. I was seeing that you did kickboxing and Muay Thai before the BKFC. What was that like?
I played around a little with the Muay Thai. I did some smokers, which is like charity fights. You know, they're not sanctioned, but they're for good causes. Wounded fallen veterans, different Toys for Tots. I raised money for charity in those Muay Thai fights. Like 8 or 9 of them were unsanctioned. They were just sparring matches. I had 2 sanctioned Muay Thai fights, and I actually got beat up pretty good. The guy that I fought is a world champion at Lion Fights. And the second guy that I fought was beat me up pretty good too. So I don't belong in kickboxing. You know what I mean? That's not. I had to find out. You know, how you really gonna know unless you try.
Yeah, that's what's up. Do you ever get nervous before a fight?
Well, that's an interesting question, Paul, because when I was younger, I used to get the butterflies. Get very nervous before a fight. You know, just feel like your stomach either tightening up or you just feel kind of jumpy. Your heart rate's out of control, and the nerves are flying through your body. The most amazing feeling is when those butterflies take flight and they go away. A smart man said the only way out is through. And what that means is that the only way through those butterflies for me was through experience, that I picked up in amateur boxing at a high level, USA boxing. I was a Golden Glove champion. I am a Golden Glove champion, 2017. I'm a New England champion, and I went all as far as regionals. I went to nationals 3 times. I got beat up by some of the best fighters in the world. And there's no shame in my game. I was nationally ranked 13th in the country. So I had to go there to get here. There's a lot of backstory. I've been fighting my whole life, 14 years, sanctioned.
Okay, I noticed last 2 fights you won. You beat the Fernier cat. Am I pronouncing his name right? Am I butchering his name? Michael Fernier?
Yeah, Michael Fernier.
And then you beat Joshua Freeman,
yes, sir.
And now you about to fight Connor McKenna, I think it was Irish cat. And it looks like he came from, if I'm not mistaken, Game Bred Bare Knuckle MMA.
Yeah.
That's a lot different, right? Is he going to be in for a rude awakening? I mean, because I've seen it's a lot different.
Well, it's only different because there's wrestling. I mean,
Wrestling.
it's bare knuckle fighting, and he also has fought at BKFC as well. He
Oh, he
fought.
has.
He's 0-1 at BKFC, and he fought a tough fighter. So that being said, it's bare knuckle boxing. He's 0-1 at bare knuckle. He lost his first fight, but he did well. So what I'm saying to you is that I'll take this very seriously, and I don't take any man lightly. I know it's just one punch away from canvas and being not on the canvas. I don't want to be down there. I don't want to get stitches. I don't want to get hurt. I want to stay active and keep giving the people what they want. I don't want to get hurt. That's not the example that I'm leaving the industry with. I'm very happy every fight, win, lose, or draw. I think that's the thing that makes me set apart is that positively, I'm happy to be there. I'm really happy just to fight. So if I win, that's a side product of my hard work that I'm putting in right now.
That's what's up. And what's a typical day like for you when you're training?
Oh, I wake up at about 3 in the morning, and I go
Wow.
2 to 3 in the morning because at that time there's no cars really on the road except the police, and I live in a very small, tight knit community.
Yeah.
So chances are, if I had a medical issue, say God forbid I had a heart attack or something happened to me on my run, I sprained my ankle even. I don't care what it is. One of those police officers is going to pull over. They're going to give me a ride home. They're good people. I'm living in a great community that's surrounded by beautiful people. Anyone can come here in the world and work hard and make a life for themselves where I live. So um, I like running at 3 a.m. And then I get home from my 3.5 mile run, and I do that. It's all hills where I live in Gloucester. It's an island, so it's a great road work. I'm up and down hills for 3.5 miles. I get home, I go make my breakfast. I get my protein shake made. I take a quick cold shower, and then I'm off to the YMCA and the youth
Okay.
men. So yeah, it's right there behind my house, the YMCA. It's
That's
directly behind. Yeah, it's like 50 yards. So I work out. I punch the bag, and I run on the treadmill and I lift weights. And I've been fighting for so long that I don't need to be in a combat gym setting every single day. My rule of thumb is if it doesn't have a heartbeat, I don't really need to I don't give a shit. I like fighting guys. So I show up at the gym looking for blood. I show up looking to spar. I'm there to punch people that are alive. Yeah, I hit the bag. I do bag work, bare knuckle. I never put gloves on when I do bare knuckle bag work.
mhm.
And you can see my knuckle falling off right there. I just hit the bag with no gloves because if you can't do that, how are you going to punch me? If you can't,
Yeah.
I can throw my hooks and everything the same way
Yeah.
as I do with gloves on as I can without. My hands are never going to break. I'm never going to break my hands because I already broke them. I punch
Damn.
them off the concrete until they break, and then I put them on ice, and they come back and they're like rocks. I can't even write my name.
Dang.
Yeah, sacrifices.
Now I noticed with BKFC as I started getting into it, it's really hard for cats to go undefeated for a long time. How you've had a loss or two. How did you deal with the losses and come back to win 2 straight?
So one thing happens, the two things happen when you win or lose. It either breaks you or it makes you. You understand? Like you can either take a loss and you can sit back and woe is me and poor me, or you can take a win. It can have the same effect. You can take a big win and it can totally ruin you. You become engulfed in your own success, your own fame. You think that your shit doesn't stink, but it does. And you start thinking you're larger than life and that no one's gonna get to you. But this game is filled with savages. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is filled with savages, filled with great fighters, filled with talent. I'll tell you
Yeah.
one thing between me and the other guy, we're only one punch away, and I know that. We're only one punch away from that canvas. I've been there, and I never want to be there again. And I've proved that in my work ethic, but I have respect for every warrior I've ever fought. I have respect for the fighter that Conor McKenna is. He's a great warrior from Vermont. And I will never, ever, ever disrespect that man. He's getting in the ring to fight me. So I look at him as I do myself. We're getting in there to fight, and we're getting in there to fight bare knuckle. And not a lot of guys can say that they have the stones to do that.
You right about that. I don't know if I got the stones to get in and bare knuckle like y'all do.
Well,
Because
that
like
right
you
there,
said, it's one
I
punch
don't
could just
question it.
be over.
I don't question it. When people say
Yeah.
I don't know, that means they don't. I'm being
Yeah.
real, Paul. I'm not disrespectful. I like
Yeah.
you a lot. You're a good, nice guy. But when people say I don't know, that's when you know already that they don't have it.
Yeah.
When they offered
I
me
don't
bare
have it.
knuckle, I was like, I want to fucking go. Let's go. I was trying to fight guys at my tryout, and they were like, calm down, and we're gonna have to, you know what I mean? I was trying to fight people. I was like, yo, what do you got, bro? What do you got? I was trying to fight guys at the tryout, and they told me to basically, I calmed down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, I'm ready to fight right now. Like, I thought I was going there to annihilate somebody. I got off the plane like, that's what it takes, man. You already know when you're in the locker room and it's like you're about to storm the beach in Normandy. Everybody's there,
Oh
man.
man.
We're all sitting there, stone killers, and you already know right there when the time trickles down. You either see guys get alive or you see guys go down. They shouldn't be there. They're scared. They're scared to get out there and fight. And I'm not scared to fight. I'm not scared to die.
Why is it though? It's like all y'all BKFC fighters are really nice on the interviews, but y'all stone cold killers. Like, what is that?
I think that a lot of majority of the BKFC fighters possess just a big heart. We have a big
Okay.
heart, and we have a big heart to get in the ring and fight with bare knuckle. So when we meet people that come to the fights, and we meet people like you who do the interviews, like I say it all the time, we're the music, but you're the conductor. Without you, our voice is never heard. So I'm just grateful for everybody that's involved with bare knuckle as a sport as a whole. It's not about me, him, or her. It's about all of us moving forward and progressing as a family. I never did this for money. I did this so bare knuckle could be a great thing.
Now, I notice a lot of people we've interviewed in the past, like always calling out somebody. They want always that one person to fight. Is there any one person that you want to fight in BKFC? Or you just willing to take on anybody they bring you?
Taking whoever they give me. I mean, I don't listen. Some guys they have secret animosity towards other fighters, and I don't.
Mm.
Some guys take this shit way too personal because they're getting punched in the face. Me, it's another day in the life. I grew up playing hockey. I love fighting. It's in my blood. I'm a warrior, and it's never personal with me. Strictly business. It's just business. I don't care. You want to fight me? I win, lose, or draw. You're gonna get the same shark. I'm gonna be happy because my life. Only I can control how I feel. So when you have that power, it becomes a lot easier to deal with the highs and the lows. I never really changed character because it's not a character. It's me. I'm fucking wild and I'm crazy, but I'm a really great guy. So that's the bottom line. There's things that I'll always do, and there's things that I'll never do. And so that's kind of where we're at.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, the hockey thing, because hockey's like bare knuckle on ice a lot of times
Absolutely.
anyway. So
I love to fight, and it don't matter where I'm at. If I'm in a boxing ring or with gloves on, or if I'm in a bare knuckle fighting ring, squared circle, or if I'm on ice, I'm gonna dominate whoever's in front of me, and it's in my blood. I'm a warrior, and I refuse to let anybody put me in my place or tell me who I am. When I know who I am, I know where I'm going. Only if you know where you've been and you know where you're going. Where have I been and where am I going? But I know that, so that's a fact.
now I saw you got another contract for some more fights. How many more fights you got?
They brought me back on a multi-fight deal, so I'm here to stay. You know what I mean? They have a lot of faith in me, as they should. I'm working my butt off. I'm very proud to fight for the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. It's on my car. It's on my hat. It's on my shirt. It's on my knuckles. At this point, it's in my heart and my DNA. It's my whole entire life is promoting this company that I fight for and this brand. I love Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and I think that a lot of promoters know that loyalty is the most important thing to me. I'm loyal to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Mr. Feldman, Mr. Nate Shook. Everybody involved with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship has treated me with the utmost respect. So I feel like I owe them my life. I owe them everything I am as a man.
That's what's up. And how many fights they got you signed for?
It's a 3 fights.
Three
Three
more.
fights.
Okay, three more fights. Okay.
Yeah, 3 more fights, and then we're gonna go back and sign for another 3 or 4 more fights. I plan on doing this for another 10 or 15 years. I'm only 32 years old.
Yeah, I seen that. You 32. You still got a ways to go.
I'm a young buck.
I gotta ask you, where did Jason Mask come from? Like the whole Jason Mask thing.
Well, it's funny because I played hockey goalie,
Oh,
so it was really it kind of just fit just perfectly because the original hockey goalies didn't even wear masks, and the first guy who invented the mask was a hockey goalie. And Jerry Shevers started writing the stitches where he got hit in the game. He would write the stitches on, and that's how they came up with the idea to self-design the goalie masks.
yeah.
So Jerry Shevers was the original Jason mask. It was just a hockey mask that he drew the stitches on where they would have been if he didn't have a helmet on. So that's the inspiration. But then, of course, Jason. That's very cool. I'm a horror fan. I think that stuff's awesome. It's scary. I love Halloween. My wife is from Salem, Massachusetts,
Okay. Damn.
Witch City. I grew
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So I grew up celebrating Halloween for the right things, movies and pop culture and Halloween, trick or treating, costumes, all that.
I got a few more questions. You were talking about the wife. How do you balance the fight game and the married life?
Very carefully.
Because you got to give the wife a lot of quality time still, right?
Yes and no. If you're married
Yes
to
and
the
no.
right, if you're married to the right person,
Yeah.
as a fighter, then they know what you're up against, and they also know what they're up against. So they balance that well, and so do you. I never have to argue with my wife. We've known each other a long time, and she knows where I'm at, and I know where she's at. It's never like that. I'm not worried about. I know where she stands as a woman, and she knows where I stand as a man. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Our marriage is a real marriage. I've been married. I've been with this woman since I was 18 years old.
Man, that's
So
what's up. Congratulations.
yes, I absolutely love my wife. We're a real family.
That's what's up.
People get it twisted because I'm crazy and wild, but there's a whole other guy that I am when I'm amongst my friends and amongst my community and amongst my family. I'm not the shark. I'm not gonna fucking tear their heads off. No.
So you're not like Macho Man. They say Macho Man played the role everywhere he went, and it kind of messed up his marriage because he was Macho Man all day, every day.
No.
Sometimes you got to get out of character, right?
No. That didn't mess up his marriage. Miss Elizabeth messed up his marriage because she's a skank cooker.
Oh, man. You heard it for the shark. What's your ultimate goal in BKFC, man?
Well, you know what my dad said to me the other day? He said to me that, when we're together at a restaurant, you're Zach. But when you're in that ring, I get that you're Shark Attack. But you got to calm down and act like Zach when we're out in public. And I said, you know what, Dad? No. Because I'm always the shark. I'm always the shark. That's why I stopped you before. Because Macho Man is a character.
Yeah.
That's a character that Randy Savage played.
Yeah.
This ain't a fucking game. I'm always the shark. I don't have to play the shark. It's not a character. I'm angry. I'm angry because the world is disgusting right now. And I'm out here to prove to people that we can still do it our way, and we can still have it our way, and you can still have it your way. You just got to work harder for it. The American dream is alive. It's alive and well. And we don't need to be racist. We don't need to be hateful. We don't need to be spiteful. All that negative energy is taking us nowhere as a civilization. We need to grow. We need to adapt. If that means going dark for 6 months, brother, they need to do it. But people lack the communication with their own soul. They don't know who they are, so they don't know that they need 6 months in the dark. You got to stop picking up the phone, so you stop going to the club, so you stop being around toxic people, so you start walking down the right road. It's really that simple. You are who you hang out with. Take a look at your social group. How are they doing? I only hang out with winners. I sat on a bench the other day. I was talking to my brother. He said, winners only. And I said, you're right. And that's why I'm sitting with you, brother. And we felt very comfortable in that moment. But if another guy came and sat on that bench, we wouldn't have to even speak it to words. He would feel that uncomfortable because we are so put together and so organized. He would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm the same way as you. I like to be aware of who I got around me in my circle. I like honest people first and foremost, and people that are like minded. And then you're right, though. The world's society seemed like we went backwards some as far as race relations, and just there's a lot of hate. People waking up every
Hate,
day, putting their energy into hating one person. And
yo, people
you
are
don't got
making
nothing better
hate.
to do.
Stop making hate. Make money.
Yeah,
I work with all kinds of people. I work with every type of person on God's green earth, and I love everybody just the same. And that's why I've reached the top of society. That's why I've reached the top. That's why I'm on the sports page every week. That's why I'm sponsored by all these companies. That's why I'm doing so well, because I show respect. I get respect. You get what you give. It's the truth. You know, more with sugar than salt. People are walking around salty. They wonder why the world treats them salty. Well, bro, go take a shower, put a smile on, and then maybe people will smile back. That's right.
now let me ask you this: BKFC 61 that you're going to be fighting Connor McKinnon at. Where's that located at?
That's in Connecticut, Uncastleville,
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Mohegan Sun, baby.
And what date is that? That's
May 11th.
May 11th. Is that the first time they've been in Connecticut?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And every event, from what I've heard, has just been sold out. Every single one still.
Yeah, the shows, the warriors, the people, it's everybody together makes it.
Makes it a one big family, right?
That's right.
Well, I want to take up all your time. I know you got to go train probably some more and whatnot, but
Yeah, I gotta go eat. You know, I'm at my friend's house and he's going to work at 3. He's got a business meeting himself. My
so
buddy are all on
go
top of the
go
world.
ahead.
My buddies are all on top of the world. I'll tell you that. None of them are slackers. I have 3 friends. I only have 3 guy friends. And one of my guy friends is a fucking boss. He prints shirts, he prints stuff, he owns his own company. And as well as he works at a bar, he runs the bar and he runs a dispensary. My other
Man.
friend is let's just say he's a legend in combat sports. He's a legend. He runs Tampa, Florida. He's a big dog and he works for BKFC. My other friend, Blake, is the number 1 fighter down in Louisiana. He's the adopted son of Shreveport. Blake Lacaze is an amazing man. I'm going to be there on Wednesday. We're going to be sparring, training with the legendary Sparky McDuffie at the legendary boxing gym there in Louisiana at Monroe Boxing Club. So,
Well, I might have to holler at you. You said one of your friends owns a dispensary. Is that up your way?
yes, sir.
Because we got the Dizzle brand premium luxury liqueur that we're pushing. It's in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas. We're about to hit Georgia. And I don't know. It might be somebody who can help us out there, man. Oh, we lost Shark. There you go. Oh, you back. We lost
That's
you
my
for a second.
no, no. I actually have a bunch of friends in the business. I can help you with a lot of that stuff. I can make the connection for sure.
I
My
really
friend
appreciate that, man.
my friend owns a dispensary up in Maine, Captain's Cannabis. He's really beast, and I could definitely hook you up with him if the stuff checks out. And I'm sure it will.
Well, before we go, any shout outs you want to do? I know you got the bucked up energy drink.
Bucked Up Energy Drink, baby. Shout out Bucked Up. Shout out Dank Printing Company. Shout out Grealish Boxing Gym. I want to shout out AJ Galante. I want to shout out Jeff Esposito at Champs Boxing Gym in Danbury, Connecticut, where I'll be finishing my camp. I want to shout out Blake Lacaze. I want to shout out Chris Big Boy Jensen. I want to shout out everybody in Florida, the whole entire state. Only winners, baby. I want to shout out Gloucester 01930, Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts, Connecticut, on Castleville, Mohegan Sun, the tribe. I want to shout them out. You know, we're ready to make noise, and I'm here. I'm a warrior. Thank you to the Native American Reservation for putting on these amazing fights. I want to shout out the U.S. government. Thank you, USDA. Thank you, Paul Pickett. And thank you,
Appreciate
God.
it.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Mr. Feldman.
Appreciate you coming on, Zach. And anytime you want to come back on, man, just hit me up. I'm here for you, man.
Man, I couldn't appreciate you more. Like I said, you're the orchestrator, you know, and I'm just the sweet music. Us fighters, we can't do it without you guys, you know, and I feel like too many people are like Mr. T and Rocky, you know, don't turn a blind eye on the media. Those are your friends, man. Be cool. So thank you so much,
We'll
Paul.
keep making that sweet chin music for us, man, so we can
Ah,
keep doing what we do over here, man. Once again, Zach, the Shark Attack Calmus.
I
Peace,
wish one of
man.
these boys would hit me hard already. Come on. Bring
All
it.
right.
I'm right here. All right, I'm hopping off,
All
big
right,
dog.
peace. That was Zach, the Shark Attack, Calmus. First official BKFC fighter interview on Paul Pickett podcast. Actually, was responsible, like I said, for producing a couple Circle of Kings interviews with him, and always been a great entertainer. Always puts on a show for the fans, and always a nice guy. That's the thing about these guys, man. They're stone cold killers, but every single interview I've been involved with for BKFC is nothing but nice guys that show us a lot of love. And make sure y'all check them out at BKFC 61, which Hardy and Ferreira is the headliners for that. It's May 11th, 2024 in Connecticut against Connor McKinnon. And let me make sure I got the what he said the location was for that again. BKFC 61 event. Let me pull this up real quick where it was located. Uncastle, Connecticut. And it is at the, what does that say? Oh, the Mohegan, let me pull this up. The Mohegan Sun Arena. So that's a Native American, on a Native American reservation. Definitely check it out. Saturday, May 11th, 2024. Once again, thank you for joining the Paul Pickett podcast. And we're going to bring on some more BKFC fighters in the future. And I definitely got to stay tuned in for this BKFC 61. This is going to be very interesting. Once again, I'm Paul Pickett, and this is the Paul Pickett podcast. And we out as soon as I find my little intro.
Beats my trill, straight Killerville, dog, 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 dog.
Hey, what's good? We are back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. We're gonna take y'all back into another BKFC interview. This guy actually started out in kickboxing, and I hope I ain't pronouncing this wrong. Sancha fighting. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. And then he transitioned into the BKFC. He has 6 fights under his belt, 3-3. And if I'm not mistaken, he fights 2 weight classes, flyweight and bantamweight, if I'm not mistaken. Let's bring him in, the one and only JR the Lion Ridge.
What's going on?
What's up, man? Did I get all that right?
You did, but my very first BKFC fight was at a catch weight at 130.
Okay.
And, we just remain here at flyweight now, 125.
Okay, that's what's up. I want to start here. What's the difference between kickboxing and Sancha fighting? Because I don't know, and I think a lot of people need to know.
So basically what it is if you can imagine Muay Thai mixed with judo.
Okay.
So you get points for sweeps, hip throws, hip tosses, but you don't fight on the ground. You get back up and fight again. So it's punch, kick, knees, and elbows, depending on where you're at, plus throws.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very interesting sport. It's definitely exciting to watch. So if you can imagine Muay Thai with judo, it's definitely it's something different. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's what's up. What was the transition like from kickboxing and Sancha fighting into the bare knuckle?
It was a pretty easy transition. My original Sancho coach, he was a boxer in China before he made the switch to Sancho. And So his style was more geared towards boxing with the punches, kicks, knees, and throws. So it was he instilled all his boxing, his style into me. So it was super easy transition. Like that would be crazy if there was a time in BKFC I accidentally kicked somebody, but I don't think something like that would ever happen. You know what I mean? That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because I know. Go ahead.
One thing too is when it comes to the clinch, I'm very familiar with the clinch. I'm able to use the leverage properly. Like I personally don't like to sit and bang in the clinch. A lot of these fighters in BKFC enjoy it. I don't. So whenever it comes to the clinch, if I get clinched out with some guy, I know how to work it and then hold, and then reset and then fight again.
Okay. I hate to bring up losses, but you fought Tyler Randall. I actually watched it again today. He's only like I guess an inch taller, but it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not a fight expert, but it seems like you were trying to come low and fast on him.
Yeah, so on paper, all the the podcasters and all the BKFC journalists, like I was supposed to just beat the dust off Tyler Randall. And how can I say this? I basically gave Tyler Randall the fight. That was like I was in the ring, but I was not fighting, right?
Okay.
And I gave it away. I don't know where I was at. I don't know where my head was at. Like I gave him the fight. I wasn't fighting to win. I know my capabilities. I know how confident I am in my craft, and I could have beat the tar out of Tyler Randall. And I just gave it away. That's it, hands down. Like I can only be disappointed in myself. Like I gave it to him.
I definitely
he didn't
saw
win
a
the
few
fight.
punches that should have landed, and if they would have landed, he would have been out cold. Like you could just see the ferocity behind some of those punches you were throwing.
Yeah, and I didn't sit. I didn't get inside. Work them. I was just moving in there, especially in the fourth and fifth round. And I can only get mad at myself. I gave Tyler Randall the fight. He did not beat me. I gave it to him. And it's just something that I can only be disappointed in myself.
Now, I just interviewed Zach Calmus, Shark Attack, and I had to ask him this, like, because BKFC is so different than boxing. How do you stay motivated for the next fight even after a loss?
That's a very good question. With any fighter, any athlete, when you experience a loss, all you can think about is getting that loss back, right? Yeah. So the next person that you fight, you are going to make sure you win.
Yeah.
And there's a point in every fighter's career that they lose that edge. And I'm hoping that the time I had off from when I fought John in the title fight to the time I had fought Tyler, did I have too much time off? Did I have a little ring rust? Did I lose a little bit of the ferociousness that I had originally when I first came into BKFC? I don't know. That lion is truly still inside of me, and I will fight anybody. And I know I am one of the best flyweight bare knuckle boxers in the game. Like there's nobody with my talent. But I let it go. I let it go, Paul. I gave it away. I had to check myself after the fight. I had to check who I was. I took some time off, me and my girl, we went to a little weekend getaway. I had to reset and regroup. You know, I had to really ask myself, do I still have it? Yeah, I do. And we're gonna get that back. Like I've already talking to my management about running it back with Tyler. So we'll definitely make it happen.
I think when we interviewed Redneck, he kind of was saying like something about how some of the fights be spaced out too long too.
Yeah, I 100%.
Like, yeah, for each fighter, like they gotta wait so long to get that next fight because there's so many fighters in BKFC right now.
So many fighters in BKFC right now, which is good.
Yeah.
But what some of these guys like myself, Dave Mundell, Zach Calmus, you know what I'm saying? Other guys that have been that have built a name in BKFC in their weight classes, like we need to stay busy as possible throughout the year.
Yeah.
Like it's not just fight, have a few months off. Sometimes some of these guys, they're not fighting for a year. Like Dave Mundell is the champ in the middleweight class. Good friend of mine. His last fight was, who did he fight? It was
it's been a while, right?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Word on the streets is that he's going to be fighting overseas. But the thing is, like the champ, Dave Mundell, it's like he should have already fought in 2024.
Yeah, he's actually my favorite.
Yeah, Dave Mundell is damn good guy. One of my close friends. You know, we've trained together for ever since I got back in the game, like 4 or 5 years ago here in Clearwater area. I live out here in St. Pete now, but I see him on a regular, and he was one of the guys that actually got me interested in BKFC. So whenever he got in, I was like, yeah, I can do this. So yeah, man, like they need to have us homegrown guys, especially the ones that have already built a name for ourselves in BKFC, that we didn't build a name for ourselves in the UFC, and we didn't build a name for ourselves in pro boxing. We are homegrown guys. They need to have these homegrown guys as busy as possible. That's the only thing that, because the promotion's great, everything is great about the promotion, but when it comes down to keeping these homegrown guys busy throughout the year, I think it needs to, be more consistent.
I agree with that, definitely. If I'm not mistaken, do you manage a boxing gym?
I did. So,
you did?
Sadly, we had to close the doors.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we had to close the doors. It's a long story. Like, I mean,
wasn't it like Floyd Mayweather's gym or something?
What's that?
Wasn't it like Floyd Mayweather's gym or something?
Yeah. It was. It was a franchise. The big owner, and then I ran the place, and I was working for a percentage in ownership. But yeah, sadly we had to close the doors.
Damn, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes, anybody that's watching, when it comes to like fitness or boxing, or boxing fitness franchises, the amount of royalties you got to pay back is crazy. And plus, right now, the rent is high, bills, overhead. But if you're gonna do it, I would definitely brand it yourself and do your own thing. The franchises are hard. They are hard.
Now, do you train other BKFC fighters?
I wouldn't say like I train as like they're my head, like I'm their head coach, but
yeah,
I do like I manage Michael Hecker.
Okay.
He's also fought he fought in Clearwater. But I also, I hold the mitts for him. Like we'll go over strategy. I coached him at one point before he got back in the fight game, and then whenever he decided to get back in the fight game, like he's now with me, Ryan Reber, a lot of us are over at with our coach now, James Battle, over at Battle Zone Boxing.
Yeah, I love some Ryan Reber.
Yeah,
He had that comeback in that one fight, and we, when we did a Circle Kings interview, I mean, he was just so hype, man, and it was an amazing fight. It was like probably the fight of the night, I think, that night.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan is like my brother, like Mike, Brian, Julian. Like, we're all very, very close, and everybody that trains out of Battle Zone, we're all very, very close. It's like we're family. And Ryan and I, like, I was running a boxing program out of a Muay Thai gym probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And then that's how I met Ryan. And then I was training with Ryan. And then Ryan, like at the time, my old head coach, Matt McCusker, was also Ryan's coach. But Ryan had left, went over to James Battle at Battle Zone Boxing. And I ended up leaving as well because Matt wants to focus on his Muay Thai guys, which is cool. I get it. He's a Muay Thai guy. It's a Muay Thai gym. And he's got a lot of Muay Thai guys fighting in and out of Thailand and everywhere. So, out of respect for myself and out of respect for him, he was just like, it's better that, we stay close, we stay friends, just go get your training where it's going to benefit you. So that was a great deal. So, but when Ryan left, I ended up going over there too. And James Battle, Coach Bo, they're the best coaching duo that I've ever had.
That's what's up. When's your next fight? Do you know?
So we're working. My management, I told them I'd like to fight June in Miami, just because I didn't take a lot of damage. I don't want to take time off, and I need to stay busy, just like how we mentioned a few minutes ago. I need to stay busy. I need to keep my hunger up. You know what I'm saying? My hunger and my tenacity, like how I act in the ring, needs to be just like how I was fighting in my first couple fights with BKFC. That's that's who I need to be like every time. Taking this too much time off, everybody gets comfortable, and maybe I was a little comfortable with Tyler. Maybe I just was just moved, like I wasn't fighting. I was comfortable. So I need to stay busy, man. So hopefully I can get on that June card in Miami. If not, as soon as possible. Possible. So we're working it. My management's working it. So.
Do they typically only do like people like under 3 fight contracts usually? I know like Zach always says he gets like 3 fight contracts, and then when that's up, 3 more fights. Is that typically how they do it?
I mean, it all depends. Sometimes it's better to just do single fight contracts because if you agree to a multi-fight deal, this is what you're going to get paid this fight. This is what you're going to get paid this fight. This is what you're going to get paid this fight. There's no negotiation once you sign on that dotted line. So it all depends. It all depends on who you are, and what how you want to approach it and how your management is. So either way, if you agree to a multi-fight deal, the most important thing is obviously negotiate second and third fight purse before you sign. You know what I'm saying? So don't like take a sign on the dotted line and then you fight Chad Mendez and you're only getting paid peanuts. You know what I'm saying? Because you signed for it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's very important to consider that for sure.
And I noticed like some fights they don't let go on because of like the Redneck Mundell and Mike Perry. Like Redneck want Mike Perry forever. I've heard like it has something to do with like followings and stuff like that. Like they want certain fighters that have certain followings, but I think a lot of the fans would want that fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and the fans do want that fight. But when it comes to a fight game, to the fight game, and also the fastest growing promotion, they have to look at it at a business standpoint, and which I get. Mike Perry is a big name. He's got charisma. He's
Yeah.
got the way Mike Perry. He's a character. He's a
Yeah.
character, and he's a hot character for the business, right? So Dave Mundell would beat him. Okay, Dave Mundell would beat him. I'm not.
I agree. I agree.
I'm not just saying that because he's a close friend of mine. I'm saying that because we all know he would. So if Dave Mundell beats the dust off of Mike Perry, he loses steam and the company loses steam. So which I get. So it's going to eventually happen. Like it will happen. It's just
just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And Dave's one of the homegrown guys that should be as hot as Mike, which, I don't know why, like Dave should have been, they should promote Dave quite often. But then it goes, nowadays your social media is your resume. It doesn't matter if you're the champ. It doesn't matter if you are Donald Trump. Your social media is your resume. And again, like it sucks. Like I hate. Like I get to the point. Like now that I've built a fan base in BKFC. Sometimes I get tired as hell of checking my Instagram and replying back to people and doing things like that. I get tired of it.
Yeah.
But it's something that we've got to do to stay relevant in the game, and that's true.
I don't know if you know the answer to this question though, but I can't figure out. Like you go to BKFC, they got one specific rankings, and then you go to Knuckletown, they got a different rankings. Like Knuckletown got you ranked like 8th. BKFC has you like the number 1 ranked in the flyweight. I don't know if that's old or is it been updated or.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be updated probably this week or next week. Just because Tyler Randall, he won. So
he was like 4th, I think, right?
He was third or fourth.
Yeah.
So that will change. Knuckletown rankings are different. And
okay, so they're different.
Box Rec is different too. There was one point where I was ranked number 4 in Box Rec. I looked the other day, actually before the Tyler Randall fight. Now I'm all the way down to like 9 or something. 9.
That's a far drop.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So what I go off of is the rankings of where I'm fighting, who I'm fighting for.
Who you're fighting.
Yeah. Who I'm fighting for. I fight for Bare Knuckle. I fight for BKFC. Whatever their rankings are, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's where you rank.
Yeah, that's it. Because I'm not fighting for BYB or BKB. I'm not fighting for Valor. I'm fighting for BKFC. So if their rankings, they have me at number 1. Regardless, I was number 1 because I was number 1.
Yeah.
But now since Tyler won, it'll probably bump me to probably number 3. You know what I'm saying?
Rambo will probably go up to number 1, right?
Probably Tyler.
So he'll go up that far off, that high off of that win, just because you were ranked number 1. They'll bump him up to number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
More than likely.
And I remember Rambo Russo when he was actually got arrested. I think he was supposed to fight at the BKFC and he got arrested or something like that.
Yeah, he got arrested. Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah, because we interviewed him too, and he's definitely he's only 2-0, but it seems like they trying to push him kind of heavy too. It seemed like.
Yeah, it seemed like, but I don't know, man. I think I don't want to talk bad about any fighter. I respect everybody, but that's something like that's just not a good look for you as a professional, and it's not a good look for the organization.
No, it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
So I mean, and with Rambo, like even with Tyler, I gave him that fight. After I fought Tyler, Rambo got on his social media talking trash. I'm not one to clap back because I'm a respectable professional and I know who I am. But for him, I had no beef with Rambo before. But for him to go on social media and start talking trash about somebody that has built the 125 division basically with John Dodson and Chancey Wilson, like don't disrespect me like that. Don't disrespect me. I don't disrespect nobody. But eventually Rambo and I will probably face each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna fight an unranked guy, my next opponent. Like, but when it happens, it happens. But yeah, with Rambo, like the reason why Tyler will be ranked number 1 is because Rambo only has 2 fights and Tyler has I think 5 or 6 now.
Yeah.
And then he beat the number 1 ranked guy. So
yeah,
it'll bump him to 1. That would be crazy if it bumps me to 2 and bumps Rambo down, just because I have more fights.
And that'll just make him want to shit talk even more, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. And some fighters build a name on talking trash.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor.
You're right. Some do. Yeah.
And it's cool. It's entertaining. That's who they are. But don't disrespect what I've done in the sport already. Don't do that.
Well, I got a couple more questions for you. What's your ultimate goal in BKFC?
To chase down that title. I want that rematch with John, man. I want the rematch with Dodson. BKFC did an interview, and I said, man, like John is half Filipino. I was born in the Philippines. Like the rematch with John at the end of the year in the Philippines, and the Philippines
that'd be amazing.
It would be amazing. It would be huge for the sport. It would segue more fighters into the sport. BKFC Philippines. We've gone everywhere else. We've gone to Europe. We've gone to Thailand. We're going to Mexico. We're in where were we? They just did tryouts.
Didn't they do Bulgaria too recently?
Bulgaria, yeah. They did
Canada.
Tryouts.
I mean, y'all everywhere.
Colombia. Yeah, Canada. They just did one tryouts in Colombia. So the Philippines it's got to be next. And they know I want it in the Philippines, and for John to be able to go back to his roots too, that would be an amazing opportunity. That would be an amazing fight for the both of us.
Well, my brother-in-law, he's Philippines, and y'all resemble each other, especially when you did the interview with glasses. Y'all look just like, except you the Cotton Diesel bare knuckle version.
Man. He must be handsome as hell because I'm handsome.
Yeah, I love my brother-in-law. Shouts out to you, Raymond.
Oh, he's Raymond?
Raymond, I think their last name is Boogaran or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, his parents came over from the Philippines. He was born here, but he married my baby sister, and I couldn't ask for her to have a better husband, man. I definitely ain't gonna have to worry about bare knuckle on him.
Yeah.
How big do you think BKFC gets? Do you think it could be as big as UFC?
Yes, I believe so.
I do too.
I believe so. They're doing all the right things. Like David Feldman is doing all the right things for the sport. He's a relentless owner, right? He's a relentless owner. He has been since day one. He hasn't stopped. He'll continue to keep doing what he's doing. He'll continue to get more fighters from other organizations, and he will continue to have homegrown guys build names in their divisions. So I would say within the next 3 to 5 years, BKFC is going to be just as big as UFC. It's not going to be compared to UFC, how UFC and Bellator is. It's going to be a separate sport.
Yeah.
Like UFC is the number one for MMA.
Yeah.
Like bare knuckle within 3 to 5 years is going to be it's just going to be a regular sport. Like, it's not going to, like, when people say bare knuckle, like, regular other people are like, oh my God, bare knuckle. Like, within 3 to 5 years, when people say bare knuckle, they're going to be like, yeah, like, it's going to be like a regular conversation about a combat sport. So BKFC will be it's already the number one bare knuckle
sport.
But bare knuckle as a whole, 3 to 5 years from now, they're going to talk BKFC as how they talk about UFC for bare knuckle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I noticed y'all like kind of provide a second shelf life for like fighters like from UFC and boxing to come over to bare knuckle, and like with Austin Trout, you know, have a second career in doing the bare knuckle sometimes when they kind of fizzle out of boxing or something else.
Yeah. And we've seen it already. It's happened, you know, Chad Mendez, who else? Eddie Alvarez, some big names in UFC. It's only an amount of time. It's only an amount of time. I believe that David Feldman will get Conor McGregor to do a bare knuckle fight before Conor officially hangs it up.
Yeah.
And does his thing. I have a feeling that it will happen.
And that'll be big for the sport. That'll be huge. That'll be huge.
And Conor said so himself on an interview that he would do it. He's not opposed to it, you know.
Yeah.
So
probably got to have the right money though, right? The right money,
right?
Yeah.
And then the right time.
Yeah.
Like I believe Conor, like he's scheduled to fight, you know, what's his name in the UFC soon. And now he's doing movies. So it's only a matter of time to where Conor's like I'm done with fighting. But David Feldman, like, if you want to give me some cash, I'll do one bare knuckle fight, help you build the sport, and then call it out. Peace out. And
that alone would help propel and boost the sport. That'll bring so many eyeballs to it, you know, that don't know about it just yet, you know. Because, you know, like you said, it's not totally mainstream, but it's right there. I mean, it's scratching the surface, not about to kick down the door. I got one last question for you, and I actually came up with this question myself. What do you think makes like bare knuckle fighters different than the average person? Like, y'all like so fearless, and the average person is just like, I think, full of fear.
Bare knuckle guys, bare knuckle fighters, I wouldn't say we're completely fearless, because a fighter that is completely fearless is BS.
Yeah, okay.
I would say that it's the love of the sport. It's the love of what is in our blood, of whatever combat sport we grew up in, and what we're, you know, the opportunities that we have now with bare knuckle. It's the love of what we do, and it's the love of what God has blessed us with. That's what makes us different than a regular person when it comes to bare knuckle. Because there's other fighters that are like, no, I will never do bare knuckle. But the guys that are coming over and building a name in bare knuckle, it's the love of the sport. It's the love of the pureness of the fight sport.
Yeah. I know when we interviewed Chris Lido on the Circle Kings, he actually said at first he thought it was crazy because there was some UFC cat that was doing it, and he was like, that sounds ridiculous. And then he saw it and he was like, sign me up.
Right. That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
Whenever I cornered Julian Lane in the Bostwick fight with my old coach, I was like, this is not that bad.
Yeah, it's not what people think. They had the wrong perception maybe at first.
Yeah, exactly. And at the time, like, they were in the process of bringing in the 125ers. And then I was like, this is not that bad. Like, I'm in it. Like, bring me back. I'm back in it. So that's what got me. Whenever I saw it, I was like, this is not that bad.
Well, I know they call you the Lion, but I gotta say, you fight like a bulldog, man. You like a bulldog in there, man. Especially when you and Chancey were going at it. Y'all like two bulldogs going at it, man.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That was a good fight, Chancey. That was. I would probably say that was one of my most favorite fights in BKFC.
That's what's up. Well, before we go, anything you want to shout out, man?
Shout out my sponsors, St. Pete Cryo, Elite Body Cryo out here in St. Pete, Wicked Muay Thai, making me the best shorts in the game, always keeping me laced up. Secret Tattoo Shop here in Tampa. They do all my tattoos. They do a great job. Excelicor Real Estate. If you're looking to buy a house in the Tampa area, my boy Jeremy Rickard, he's the man to talk to. And all the fans that have reached out after this fight that said you didn't lose that fight, and all the people that have supported me along the way. I appreciate all the love.
Well, I'm gonna continue to support you, man, and definitely tell my man Dave Redneck Mandel that P said what's up, man.
Yeah, I sure will.
Like, he's definitely my favorite guy. And make sure y'all follow JR the Lion Ridge on Instagram at JR Ridge, man. I appreciate you coming in. Anytime you want to join the podcast, man, please do, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, bro.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Once again, another BKFC interview. One and only JR the Lion Ridge. Stay tuned. We're going to see who he has to fight next, and we're going to stay supporting and stay tuning in. And BKFC is definitely growing fast, taking over. UFC definitely has got some competition, man. I mean, this is the modern day American gladiator, So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Paul Pickett Podcast, and we out.
Beats by Trill, straight Killerville, dog.
Oh, yeah, we back. Another episode of the Paul Pickett Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Pickett, a.k.a. Triple P, a.k.a. the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. I'm about to bring on a special guest. This guy has a pro MMA record of 14-6 and 2-0 in the BKFC. Let's bring on the one and only Marcus Bad Intentions Edwards. Marcus, what's good, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I want to start with your amateur career. You were undefeated as an amateur, right?
Yes, I went 11-0 as an amateur.
Okay. And then did you transition into UFC or some other MMA at first?
My first MMA fight was actually against Justin Gaethje. It was like on a 2-week notice. It was for Ring of Fire out in Colorado. I took the fight on short notice, and they're like, "Hey, man, you're pretty much running through all the amateurs in the division. I'm fighting in every state." They're like, this is a big step up for you. This guy's the next big thing, and this would tell you where you're at. Let's get in there and get after it. So, yeah, I took a fight against Justin on a 2-week notice, and yeah, we went all 3 rounds. It was definitely a great fight. That's for sure.
How did you get into MMA?
Ooh, man, shit. I've been doing this stuff since I was like 6 years old, wrestling, judo, grappling. I've always been the physical kid, I could never play a sport that wasn't physical, like basketball, foul out. So I'd try to play soccer, getting in fights. I've always just been the kid that was super physical and always played up in age. I never played at my age group, so I was always playing with guys that are bigger than me, and so like that kind of just pushed me into the fighting world, with the MMA, with doing MMA, based off of my background of wrestling, judo, jujitsu, and boxing growing up.
What was your experience like in the UFC?
So I actually I did the Ultimate Fighter house.
Uh-huh.
And I did the tryouts. I got out to the last day, and there was just certain things that were going on that I didn't that was said to me. You know, you do different interviews, so you do your physical, sparring, do it, showing what you got, all this stuff, and then you make it to the next round, you do all this different stuff, and then they have like an interview with like the casting people, and they talk about what type of character and stuff you're going to be, and it wasn't just like so it wasn't I just, at the time, it didn't feel like the avenue I was on, what didn't feel like the fighter house was like my thing. So unfortunately, I never made it to the UFC. I've had a couple, I had a call up that I wasn't able to answer due to just like life situations. Yeah, so I feel like my career's always been like I've been like on the cusp of the UFC, and I've had the two opportunities, and when they've come, something always happens, man. And it just seems like that's just part of my life, like my story. Kind of like with BKFC, I had not a really big opportunity, to fight, for a big fight, for them out here headlining the Colorado card. And, I had some stuff happen and I had to take 3 months off. So it's just like the story of my life, man. You know what I mean?
So they wanted you to like play a character and have a gimmick in the UFC?
Pretty much, when I was talking to, the guys I was talking to, they're pretty much like, you look, they're like, you look like the wild guy, there's like certain perks and stuff, you know what I mean? So, and, just for me to move on, I didn't feel like it was like, it just wasn't for me at the moment. You know what I mean?
Can you share with us particularly your most memorable fight in your career and what you learned from that fight?
Ooh, yeah, it definitely was the Justin Gaethje fight. It was like the first time I ever fought somebody, and the last time I ever fought somebody that was like it was like I was fighting myself. You know what I mean? So it was the only time I've ever been dropped in a fight. And it was definitely the fight that told like showed me like, okay, like this is where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? He pushed me. I pushed him right back. I dropped him. He dropped me. It was a back and forth fight. It was 3 rounds. My first fight, fighting 5-minute rounds, and somebody just coming at me with everything they had, and me returning. Like I said, I had 11 amateur fights, and I mean I didn't get hit one time in any of the amateur fights. I think all my amateur fights combined were like somewhere around like 4 minutes. So I was just like
Wow.
knocking guys out, and like, finishing fights really quick. So coming out and like getting dropped like the first 20 seconds of the round, and then like, recovering from that and ended up dropping him and like pushing him to the point where he's exhausted, and like finding that guy inside of me, like, all right, like I can go the distance, I can push myself, and then I can read, my opponent and capitalize off of his conditioning, or, of things that he's fell into, present throughout the rounds, that I can capitalize on his mistakes. So that was like a really memorable round. I mean, he's hit me the hardest I've ever been hit, and I mean, he's kicked me the hardest. So I mean, I mean, for like 2 weeks afterwards, my leg was purple. So I can barely walk it. So that was like the most memorable fight for me. It was I felt like I was in an actual fight, and I have yet to feel that yet again since then.
Now you haven't had many, but I always got to ask this with the fighters, especially in BKFC. Like, how do you deal with losses and bounce back from defeats?
Oh man, I had one. I mean, with me, the defeats that I've lost, they've been decisions. You know what I mean? It was like, it could have went either way. So those ones are like the tough ones where it's like, well, I didn't really beat him and I didn't really win. You know what I mean? So, You know, in my mind, it's like, all right, cool. Like, you know, I didn't get finished. I didn't, you know, this, like, time to get to the drawing boards. Where did I make the mistake? Where this? And just come back. And like they say, it's like, it's what you do after your loss. So like, for me, it's like, I'm sad in the moment. You know, I take that night, I take the next day. You know, if once I can get to look at the tape, I see where I made mistakes, where I, you know, let up or didn't push the throttle when I should have, and, you know, make the little tiny, you know, fine tuning. But, you know, like I try to tell everybody, like, it's a sport, you know what I mean? And, you know, you would love to be the guy that goes undefeated, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's just like basketball. You're going to lose some. You got to come back to, you know, the next week and get the job done. So you can't dwell on them. You know, I don't dwell on anything really in my life. You know, it's like, once it happens, it's happened, you know, swallow that shit and get right back on it. You know what I mean? And the losses I've never had 2 losses in a row. You know, I'll always come back stronger. I always come back better. And, you know, I'm always hungry. So yeah, I feel like I handle losses pretty good, you know, mentally. You know, everybody goes through their own little mental, the one, I will say, there was one loss in my career that affected me the most, and it was when I fought Pat Healy. I fought Pat Healy on 4-day notice, and I had just came off of like a 3-round war with Thiago Alves, and you know, I had taken a week off, and I came in to practice, and I get a call like, hey, like, we need somebody to fight this guy Friday night. And, you know, I gave them some like outrageous numbers and was like, you pay me this and you sign my buddy to a 3-fight contract, and shit, I'll fight him. And, you know, I'm not thinking they're going to, you know, answer that. And, you know, and I get a phone call like, hey, check your email. And they're like, all right. So I was like, shit, dude, like, I haven't I haven't trained for a whole week. I'm coming off of a fight. You know, I've been eating, you know, I checked my weight that night and I was like 28 pounds overweight.
Oh man.
I'm like, damn, this is about to be a hard one. I started getting scared. Like, man, I'm not going to make weight. I've never not made weight. Like, you know, I'm a professional. I'm not going to show up, like, you know. And yeah, I cut 28 pounds in 3 days, man. And made
Wow.
weight at 155. And I think that was the hardest fight mentally for me, because not only did I cut all that weight, I couldn't rehydrate the right way. I was dehydrated going into the fight. We fought in Missouri, so we fought in misery, and it was humid as shit. The air conditioner broke. They had 4 title fights that night. Pat Healy and I was the last title fight. Every title fight went the distance, so we didn't fight until like 12:40, like, at night. And it was just humid, and I was just like already exhausted. And I just went out and just like fought my hardest. And, you know, that was the only fight in my career where my body just shut down. And like, that was the first time in my entire life where I was like, damn, like, I can't defend myself right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in full mount on top of him, and I can't even use my arms right now. You know, like, it was definitely you know, it changed a lot inside of me. It took me like a good 2 months to come to terms with, like, hey, like, that's not who you are. You know, you put your body through this. You got to, like, understand that, you know, you went into this, you know, dehydrated or whatever it was, you know, because you start questioning yourself, like, yo, like, do I got what it takes? Like, I gassed out. Or, you know, your mind doesn't want to understand, like, hey, I put myself through all this extra stuff before I got into this situation, you know. So it took a little time for me to get over it, but, you know, I ended up bouncing back and getting a win right after that. So,
How
yeah,
did you lose all that 28 pounds in 3 days?
man, we got with a nutritionist, and I pretty much, like, so what I did was I got steamed salmon pretty much, and we had it cut into like two ounces. I ate like 6 times a day. I just had the like a handful of spinach, and I
Man.
ate the protein every like 2 hours, and I did like 5-6 fat burns, 2 practices, and I just did that all day. And, you know, I didn't eat after like 5 at night. And, you know, I just had like a half of a gallon of water. And then the next day I didn't drink anything. And then it was the weigh-in day. So it was like, I was just pretty much fat burning and trying to keep the protein high. And yeah, and I got there to, you know, the day of the weigh-ins, I ended up cutting like 12 pounds. Yeah, and that was pretty rough. I passed out like twice. I was like,
Yeah, that
you know,
seems like a
the
fight within itself. Just
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to get to
Oh,
the weight down.
it was definitely like, man, like everybody that knows me, like, I used to fight at 155. So, I used to cut from like 200, 210, somewhere around that range. Like right now,
Uh-huh.
I'm like 225 right now. So like I
Okay.
used to cut from like this weight to 155. So everybody knows like, damn, that I'm like a master weight cutter. I don't know. I just water load and get it off. But yeah, that was one in my career where I'm like, yeah, I wish I never did that, because that probably took like 10 years off my life.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
Well,
for sure.
you're undefeated in BKFC. When have you heard anything about when your next fight's gonna be?
Oh man, so like I said, man, I had opportunity headline the card in Colorado this month. And a lot of people don't know this, man. A lot of people like, I'm okay to share it now, but for like the last like 7 to 8 years of my life, I've been dealing with like severe arthritis in my hip. So that's,
I
I
know that.
stopped.
I know that. You had me clip it out of the last interview, and I made sure I
Yeah,
did that for you, man.
yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm ready to share it now. After my last fight. So like, if you go back and watch my last fight, you see I fall 4 times. It's
Okay.
and I'm I come forward. I come
Yeah.
forward, and when I come forward, I don't. I come. So pause. But this last fight, I was coming forward and I just fell, and I fell, and I fell, and my leg was just like, my right hip was just going out on me. And I end up, like, after that fight, I go in and the doctor's like, he wasn't even he couldn't even schedule me for like 2 months. He was like, hey, we'll see what's going on, let's just get you in here and get some x-rays and get some stuff going. And he's like, if there is anything, my next soonest available appointment is like 2 months out. And I say, all right, that's cool. I'm planning to fight all this time. So after the fight, I can, I go in and he's like, yo, like, I morally cannot let you leave here without getting you an appointment. Let me move some stuff around. He's like, this is the worst hip I've ever seen. And
Man.
he's like, I showed him my last fight, and he's like, yo, there's absolutely no way you're fighting like that with this hip. He's like, there's zero, you have no mobility, you have no firing. You got like, and he does like sports hips. He's like, this is the worst hip like I've seen. And he's like, we got to get this taken care of ASAP. He's like, you're not on a walker? Is this a joke? Like, what's going on? I'm like, nah, I just bear the pain. But yeah, man, so I end up getting my hip replaced, and I just started training last week. It's been 3 months, and I feel great. Like, y'all about to see a whole new animal. Like, before I could barely walk, before I could barely move, like, and nobody knew, and now I'm able to. I haven't done lower body workouts for. I can't tell you the last time I lifted weights or deadlifted or anything with my legs, because of my hip. Everything was always modified around just riding a bike, keep the weight off, trying to get the strength with like bike, rowing, stuff like that. Never lifting. So now I'm back lifting and, doing all these exercises I haven't been able to do since, like 2016. So, yeah, so I'm feeling great. I just got done with the class with Jake and over at Genesis. And I mean, I'm like, I don't know, I'm biting at the bit. I'm hungry. I have a meeting sometime after this with my manager about options that they're about to give me. So I'm hoping to get back in there at the end of July. I'm hoping, trying to get in there. I feel great. I mean, I'm ready to, like, I can show you better than I can tell you. That's where I'm at right now.
I know you watched the BKFC. What was it? 60 in LA.
Yeah.
With
I did.
Juggernaut broke his arm when he fell.
Woo!
Is that like an important thing to just really watch how you fall in that ring?
Man, I think I'm not too familiar with his background,
Uh
with Lorenzo's background of like MMA. I've never really looked. I've only known him to be the BK guy. You know what I mean? But I mean, for me, falling has been a part of my life since I was 6, doing judo, wrestling. And the way he fell, I mean, it more. I think the way he fell was based solely off of him being clipped and not being completely there, and his hand just kind of his not being connected to his mind, and it just got caught behind him. But yeah, there's a certain way you fall, man. If you're able to, to brace yourself. I mean, at this point in my career, I, pray to God, that I never touch the canvas. But, but if I do, I've fallen so many times. I've thrown a lot of people. I've been thrown. So it's just muscle memory for me to fall a certain way, or to roll through things, or, to, be able to put myself in a position to keep myself from being injured or hurt. But with Lorenzo, I think honestly is solely based how he fell and how his arm got stuck behind him was solely based off of him being rocked. Yeah.
I know that's got to suck for him, man. I mean, he had such high hopes of getting both like weight classes and winning the belt,
Yeah.
and that happens. I mean, I've actually dislocated a shoulder, broke a femur, and every toe in my foot when I got hit by a car. I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
man. That was a little tough moment. We did the Circle Kings interview. It's like you said you got your target set on Redneck Mandel. Is that still the
Yeah.
thing?
I mean, that is the ultimate goal, is whoever has the belt.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to fight Mike Perry. I mean, that's a big thing for me. They're saying he's the face, he's the man. Yeah, I want the belt. That's what everyone's after, the belt. But like right now, I feel like he's the guy to beat. He's beating everybody. I'm kind of a guy that like I've kind of like haven't really surfaced much, but I've beat so many good people. I feel that I am the best in BKFC until they prove me otherwise. And I feel that with my fight style, and Perry's fight style, I believe when the time comes, just I obviously I have to do my work in the in BK, and they line them up, I knock them down. I put on shows, I come after people, I make fights. And that's one thing about BK is you want that guy that's going to come out, knock people out, be in people's face, put on a show, and you're going to enjoy watching that. And I believe that's what, Mike Perry and I will do stylistically. We would put on a beautiful show of just pure striking. It's not going to be this 2 minute, or a minute in the first, you know what I mean? Like he's been beating these guys that are trying to like box him and play this game. When you're fighting a fucking dog, you got to come out there and be a dog. You know what I mean? And that's what I bring to the table is I can be whatever I want when I want to be it. And I believe that he's my ultimate goal at the moment, since he's undefeated and he's pretty much the top guy in my weight class. But yeah, Mondale is definitely in my targets. He has the title. I want that title, and I want the title of the guy that beat Mike. And I think that's anybody that wants to be the best. They just want to fight whoever's the best, in their lane, in their row. As far as anybody else in any other weight classes, I don't really care about none of that. I'm keeping my eyes focused in my division, and whoever they put in front of me, line them up. Like, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. So, line them up, let me knock these fools down, and give me what I believe that, I'm way past due, and, I've had a lot of situations in my life where I've made bad decisions and put myself in bad spots where, I should be, I see there's guys that I've trained with that have been 100% better than, that are, fighting at the top spots. And, unfortunately I was just the guy that, I never put myself first. I always wanted to put somebody else first, and put myself in bad positions. And I own every decision I make, but I feel it's my time. And it's better late than never. And I believe BK is where I do it. I have beautiful hands, I have power, I have speed. I come from different angles. I'm quick, I'm elusive. And the one thing that everyone has fought me is gonna know is like, that motherfucker came at me. That was a fight. Like, I may not want to do that again. Like, so yeah, that's the one thing I know I bring to the table. And yeah, going into the BK it's my sport. I feel like, I just need the platform that's the platform. And now I just need these fights. I'm healthy and I'm ready to go.
Well, look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a big Redneck Mandel fan. I'm not too big of a fan of Mike Perry, but I gotta
Yeah.
ask you: do you think BKFC? Because I know fighting has this politics where, like you said, he's the face of the BKFC. He is, and he hasn't been beaten yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like the fights are like kind of catered to keep him undefeated. Could I be wrong about that? Or
Man, I think you're wrong. I think the thing is they're not. I don't think they're catered to keep him undefeated. I think that these fights are money fights. These are
okay,
let's
money
go get
fights.
let's
Okay,
get another big name and see what
big
happens.
name, yeah.
And if that guy beats him, then he's the next guy. Let's get another big name from another division, or let's bring somebody in and now fight this guy. Like everybody knows, this promotion, BK is still fresh. They're still one of
They
the
are. You're
newest,
right. Yeah.
and they need to bring more eyes. And just like boxing, they do these these Conor McGregor, versus Mayweather fights. You know what I mean? It brings all these people from different walks of mixed martial arts together. And I believe that's what they're doing with in that sense of bringing guys that have been in the UFC or K1 or whatever it may be, to kind of bring more eyes to the division, which is beautiful for everybody. More eyes is more money, and that lines the fighters' pockets and makes it, to the point where guys can actually, do what they have to do to put on good shows because they can focus on fights. But as far as catering to him winning, he's just winning.
He's just
fighting.
winning.
He's fighting tough guys. They're just BK's a brutal sport. Getting hit in your mouth with fists and you're not used to it is, if you didn't start off on the street and you're one of those dudes that came into a gym and was like, I'm a great wrestler, I've been in like a bar fight or so, then yeah, like you're not used to that world. Like, I don't know Mike Perry's background, but my background, man. And I mean, anybody from California, where I'm from, can contest to this, man. I mean, I was feared, on the streets of fighting. Like I've been in over 400 street fights easy. And that's no cap. And most of the fights were fights that just happened and somebody's getting jumped. And I'm just like, yeah, all right, well, I'll help him. You know what I mean? Or my boys calling me up like, yo, we about to meet behind blah, blah, blah. Let's go get it in. And it's just, 20 versus 20 type deal. But in those moments, it's like, yo, like, you could die. So you fight differently. It brings out a different type of animal in you, especially when everybody knows you're the guy that knocks people out and they're gunning for you. You know what I mean? So it brings a different person out of you, different animal. You see life differently. And, once you do fight, and especially a sport like this, it allows you to be the dog that you are, because there's no knives, there's no guns. It's just another man in front of me that bleeds, breathes, and eats and drinks just like I do. So let's see who can take it, and that's what happens. And I think that's why he's winning, is because he can take that damage, because he's been there and he understands. And it's just like anything, muscle memory. You just fight.
Well, BKFC is definitely not having no problem selling out any events. I know
Yeah.
that much. And now they got Conor McGregor as part owner. What does that do for the future of BKFC? Even more brighter, would you say?
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think that's awesome. I think it's an awesome thing for the sport. Bringing, Connor coming in, buying half or a quarter or whatever he has. He's a new business guy. You know what I mean? He's trying to grow his brand. He's trying to this, he's trying that. So I think having somebody that's so hungry, someone that's been there, that's still doing it, that's one of the best to do it, that sells his fights. Bringing somebody in like that's hungry in the business aspect of fighting and wants to help grow and wants to put their name and stamp and a legacy on something. I think that not only helps, the bare knuckle scene across the world for every bare knuckle organization. I think it helps all the fighters, especially in BK. The eyes that he's going to bring from just the people that follow him, that have his back, bringing in more sponsors, bringing in, just everything that comes with that Conor, McGregor, platform. So I think it's a great thing for BK, and I think it's a even better thing for the fighters.
I got one more question before we let you go and give your shout outs. What kind of advice would you give anybody trying to get into this fight game, whether it's MMA or BKFC?
Man, it's funny. I've been doing a lot of coaching since I've been injured. And man, it do it if you're getting into something. It doesn't matter what it is. Do it because you have the love and the passion for it. Not just because you see other people do it or it's cool or oh, I fight. Like, make sure you're in love with it, and like there's nothing. You wake up and it's the first thing on your mind. You go to sleep, it's the last thing on your mind. When you're in tough moments, you're learning in those moments, and that in the craft. There's some times where you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be tired, and like, yo, I don't want to show up. Show the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, these are the things like that it takes, especially to be a fighter. When you get punched in your face, like, don't be a bitch. There's the one thing I'm gonna say. Like, oh, I will leave you with this. Like, I hate going to fucking gyms. Sorry, excuse my language. I hate going to gyms or
You
like
good?
practice and dudes punching people in the mouth and then telling them they're sorry, or
Oh
dudes being
man.
like, why you hitting me hard? Like, shut the fuck up and hit me back harder, bro. Like, let's get
Yeah.
after it. Like, yeah, take care of your fucking teammates, but at the same time, like, don't be a bitch. Like, we're grown ass man, and if you want to be a fighter, be a fucking fighter. Shake hands afterward and words and grow. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like, I came in at a point where it was like like we have like regular MMA gloves on and like shin guards on, and that was it. And we're just banging, it was like gladiator school when I first started fighting. Now it's like, everybody's geared up, knee pads, elbow pads, and like, and it's like, oh, like, yeah, take care of your toys. But at the same time, like, you gotta learn how to be tough at practice, because you're not just gonna get rocked in the fight and imagine and expect to just like be able to work through it if you've never pushed yourself and been there in that position before. So I encourage people to like push themselves and break down walls. And there's only way to break down walls is to get the fuck after it. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you want to be a fighter, just make sure you're not a bitch.
You heard it from Marcus Bad Intention Edwards. If you want to get in this fight game, his best advice is don't be a bitch.
Yeah, facts. It's
Before we
funny
go,
though.
any shout outs you want to do?
Oh man, like I haven't, I was just talking. I don't have really any shout outs, man. Like I've just been sticking to myself. I don't have really any sponsors or anything right now. I've just been kind of laying low. Obviously like my gym, Genesis. But yeah, man, nah, not really. I don't have really any shout outs, man. I'm in this like this phase of just hibernation, you know what I mean? And yeah, so when I come out of that, I'll show my love to everybody that it's due to. But in the moment, just wait, watch, and see.
Well, I appreciate you coming on for the interview, and
Yeah.
anytime you want to come back on, please do, and I'm gonna definitely stay in touch with you.
Yes, sir.
Got to find out when your next fight's gonna be and whatnot, and gonna stay following and promoting, whatever you do, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, definitely. I like when we did the Circle of Kings. Like, all you guys are super cool. And I know you edited that stuff out for me, so I appreciate that very much,
Yeah,
man. Because
yeah.
I was a little nervous at the time, didn't know, any aspects of it that I can get in trouble. I don't know. So yeah, I really do appreciate that, and always showing me love, man.
Nah, I definitely wanted to respect your wishes on that, and because I know you didn't really mean to disclose that
Yeah, it
information
just
on the
came out.
show. Yeah, and then he was like, "Hold up," after the show, he was like, "Yo, can you edit it out?" And what's crazy is I'm not like the master editor, but I felt like I did a pretty good job on
You
it,
did, you
cutting
did.
it out, and that way they didn't know. And we ain't grimy over here like somebody like, "Yo, Marcus got hip problems, man."
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
inside. Nah, man,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
take
yeah.
sides
Hey,
of
make
nothing.
sure you get a couple hits to
Yeah,
a
yeah.
zip.
Make
You're
sure you
gonna
hit
go
it,
down.
man. Nah, we ain't doing none of
Yeah.
that over here and whatnot. But once again, thank you for coming on. Anytime you want to come on, man, please do, man.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I'll definitely shoot you a message when I find out when I'm gonna be fighting again, so you'll know what's going on.
That's what's up, man. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I'll see you.
All right, peace. Well, that was another one. Marcus Bad Intention Edwards. 16-4 in MMA fights for pros and 2-0 BKFC. And you heard him. It should be coming back to BKFC soon. Soon we'll find out when his next fight's going to be. Can't wait. Want to see him continue that streak, go to the 3-0 and keep doing his thing. Once again, this is another episode of the Paul Pickett Podcast. Wednesday, we got Marcus Suarez, Merck, and Thursday, we should have Connor McKinnon, who's fighting Zach Calmus at BKFC 61 in the undercard fight for the heavyweights. Stay tuned. Once again, another episode of Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out. Peace.